The first half was incredible. I had such a good time with you.
Good.
And when we left off, we were talking about the fact that you had a second assassination. Well, the first one you avoided assassination attempt, and the second one I think was deliberately an attempt on your life, right?
Yeah.
They put out a contract. Well, they put out a contract. That's what it was.
Yeah.
And the contract was put out by the Gambino crime family because you were putting a dent. Your narcotics unit was putting a dent into their money.
Yeah. Each street was its own.
We're talking about Harlem too.
Harlem. This is Harlem. The 3-2 precinct is Central Harlem.
What year is this?
This is 19 now. We're up to about 1979. 1979 to 1980.
Because there's a series on TV about
Godfather?
Yeah, the Godfather of Harlem, but we're talking about way before that.
That's the 60s.
That's the 60s.
That's
All
about the
right.
numbers.
So we already went through that.
Yep.
But there's still Italians in Harlem.
Yes.
Now.
Well, now, Pete, but how did that come to? How did you come to find out that there was actually
Intelligence. On the intelligence unit from the headquarters, I don't know if they still do that today, or
Yes.
you guys are on the job.
So they
contact you, and they tell you that there's a threat. So they call me, they come up and see me. They got a threat on you, my family.
How do the bad guys know to call the intelligence unit?
And then the police department's response is they give you a radio and say, "Here, kid," right? That's some bullshit they do, you know.
But
What do you mean they give you a radio?
They give you a radio and go, "Good luck."
Oh,
you know?
so you
take
take home radio.
Yeah,
take home radio,
yeah.
and then we
Like you're really gonna listen to the
Which only works in the 3-2. You go outside the 3-2.
Suffolk County notify, where
Yeah.
you live.
Okay.
And
To
they're
do
gonna be like,
drive-bys.
we'll go by his house.
I'm just stuck on.
I'm studying in front of Pranzo's house.
I'm stuck on the mobster. So who do I got to call to put a hit on this guy? What, the intelligence unit? Who's that? All right, so is this the intelligence unit? Yeah, you tell that Peter J. Pranzo that we're coming after him. All right.
That's right.
Oh God. Anyway, so that's what happened. So they had, they took shots at the cops all the time. They used to pop shots at the police.
Who's popping shots at the police?
All the bad guys, they would.
The 70s is
Would you actually see wise guys in Harlem?
Did you?
No, they were down in the Lower East.
So
East side.
they were at the Command and Control Center down at 1
They never got involved.
They were on Mulberry Street. The Command and Control in Mulberry.
They were at the Ravenite.
They were bringing the drugs in, like they say in the old.
So they were the ones who you basically were
shipped the
taking
money.
their drugs off the street.
Right.
Your arrests were.
They shipped them in from Turkey, and they shipped them over to Palermo.
What kind of drugs were we talking about? Heroin?
Heroin. Everything was heroin. This is just the beginning of cocaine, but it was.
I heard the Louisiana cops call it heroin.
There you go. Exactly. Yeah.
They
Exactly.
brought in some heroin.
But they shipped the drugs, the heroin from the poppy plants, and they had their farmers farm it to people who lived in Turkey, and they bring it over to Palermo. They lab it up in Palermo. And
You're talking about Palermo, Italy?
Italy.
So
Sicily.
you're talking about this whole rig is going on between Turkey and Italy,
And
it makes
then
its
from
way
there,
to Harlem.
on the olive boat, put it on the olive boats, ship it in with the olive oil, ship it over to the.
Where's that, Jenko olive?
And they ship it over, and they get it and bring it in to.
My father worked with you.
To the Fulton Fish Market. This is good. Let's lighten up. Anyway, to the Fulton Fish Market, they'd unload all the drugs and bring it to the Bronx. They'd bag it into diamond quarter bags, glassines, and then they'd ship it over to.
Well, let me ask you something too. This is way up. Obviously,
Yeah.
this is at least 5-6 years before I came on the police department. How were the Italians able to run the drugs in Harlem?
The money.
And
money.
But what I'm
Money.
saying is, how come no Harlem organized crime guys, black
But they
dudes,
did. They did.
they pushed them out
They
eventually,
did.
right?
No, you had.
They worked
Remember
with
Nicky
them?
Barnes?
Yeah.
They could do what they want.
I would
They
imagine
would buy the
it's
drugs.
the group with the deepest pockets, because the more I can buy on one shipment, the lower I can charge in the street for it, because I paid a lower price for it.
Yeah.
So once I can pay lower price, they're going to come to me. So if you're looking to make money off of it, if you're a dealer,
Yeah, but I mean, look, even years later up in the Heights, there were corners, and if someone came in and tried to sell in your corner, they got whacked.
That's correct.
You know what I mean?
That's correct.
So
Yeah,
why
still,
did they not just whack the Italians?
If I'm going to buy a kilo...
Because they had to get the drugs here. How were they going to get
they
the
didn't
drugs?
have the connection?
No.
Oh,
No,
okay.
they
Yeah,
couldn't.
but if you got a kilo for $10,000 and somebody else is selling it for 12, I'm going to buy it for 10.
Yeah.
And who's selling it for 10? The Italians.
Yeah.
So we're going to get it from the Italians.
Yeah, they put the money up and they have it shipped
Right.
here to America, and they said, where are you going to sell this shit? So the best place to sell it, they figured money-wise and to have people who could sell it were the Harlemites, was the folks of Harlem. And they used them and they, and they started their own little organizations, the Black Sunday Gang or this and that.
How many people were inside your unit? This narcotics unit?
we rotated.
No, the one that you
yeah,
put together.
8, just 8 guys.
8 guys. And how did
yeah.
you roll out?
What's that?
How did you roll out? It wasn't 8 guys in a van. Would you use 2 or 3 different cars?
No, yeah, 2 or 3 different cars. We had the paddy wagon. We always had a car with
Is
us.
that time where you could bring your own gun to work day? Is that
That
over?
passed, but you did.
You still could?
Oh, you still could, yeah. As long as it was on the 10 card, guys had their 9s and their 45s and stuff like that. Everybody had 2 guns, the backups. Then we just
Were
started.
you doing B&B or no?
No, nope, that was organized
What
crime.
kind of stuff
No
were you
buy and
doing?
bust, jump collars.
just jumps.
Jump collars,
Wow.
yeah.
does that
So
mean,
we,
jump
it's
collars?
cheap,
Jump 'em on the
sweeps
street.
on
Yeah,
the
just
street.
jump 'em.
Somebody who just bought
Or
drugs.
car stops too,
Yeah.
probably you do.
Car
Get them out of
stops,
cars, yeah.
and mostly sweeps. This unit was like a narcotics task force, and then we did all the work, and we converted from there to a conditions car. So we did everything within
So
the
this is
precinct.
within precinct. It's
Within
not,
the precinct.
It's
Nope,
not
1 square mile.
OCCB narcotics.
No, 1 square mile.
Wow.
1 square mile, and then the numbers added up, and we went. Everybody works there. I was never the kind of a guy to discriminate on what type of a collar you would make. I would never tell a guy, and that's bullshit, that collar. You take everything. So let me get that point across real quick. Everybody has their own style of supervision. Mine was a first name basis. It was always Pete. It was Pete as a cop, as a sergeant, and a lieutenant. Because I couldn't give a fuck about all the hierarchy and shit like that. So I was Pete. And that's how we worked. And we had a lot of fun. And we
Did they call
worked.
you Mustache Pete?
Yeah, boy, I had a big one. And it was all dark. But so that's the point across. And we worked, and we had a lot of freedom. So we could work any we wanted, as long as it was in the confines of the 3-2. And that was the center point of the narcotics location, was Harlem, 2-2, 2-8, and then the 9th precinct downtown. But the bulk of it was up in central Harlem. And so we did the sweeps. We cleaned out the buildings, all the drug dens, and the collars, trespass in the buildings. And people think, because I always had a sledgehammer. I always carried a sledgehammer with me, and on the side of the sledgehammer it said search warrant. So that was the warrant, So we took that and we said, take the doors down.
And the bottom of your
Yeah,
shoe, too,
yeah,
right?
that was it. Yeah.
Can we see the search warrant? Yeah. Hey, go get him the search warrant. Bang!
And what happened was, as a matter of fact, I broke my foot from kicking the doors in. I says, I got to buy a hammer. So then I had the sledgehammer, But what happened, people assumed that we were really crossing the line when we weren't crossing the line, not that far over. But what happened was I made a good connection with the Housing and Preservation Authority. They were down in the 2-5. They had an office over there. And the guy gave me the pull-out thick book of all the city-owned buildings. And they were supposed to be abandoned buildings. And they were all taken over by the drug dealers and such, doing drugs inside. And so that gave me the right to go into those buildings because they were city-owned and nobody had the right to be in those buildings. So that's why it said the sledgehammer. And so we could go in, take all the doors down, and clean everybody out and make all the arrests from high all the way down to the bottom. We didn't discriminate in the type of arrests we made, And I never knocked anybody because they took, that's a shit arrest. Because those, like you said, the windows theory and that stuff like that, when you took the lower element collars, that led to the bigger collars. You know that.
Right.
You take for possession, and that's the guy is wanted for homicide. And that's how you clean your streets. So we did the sweeps. We cleaned out the buildings and did jumps, so to speak. And from the collars, just mounted up.
Didn't the department at that time worry about the corruption involved in narcotics?
Yes. Yep.
Want to talk about that for a second?
Yeah. What happened was that we were always followed. They had plants. They set up things, and they
Integrity
test. I guess that's what it was. You get a call, and they call for the conditions car. Go up to a location here, and because they had selling drugs, whatever it was, and we go in there, you'd find there was a rifle against the corner of a refrigerator. In the refrigerator was nicely wrapped up $2,000. Nicely rolled. That's a bullshit.
Right,
That's downtown. That's us. That's the IAD. So they tried to do that because they refused to believe, number one, that we were straight guys. We worked, the guys made overtime. And
That was their reward.
That was their reward, yeah. I was honest with them. As much as because there was no limit on overtime when we started, it was like 100 hours you could make, which was a lot of hours, right?
Yeah.
And then they brought it down to 50. So I told the guys you can take your 50 or your 100 hours overtime, and then anything past that, you get time off, time and a half.
Right.
So the guys were happy with that. I made overtime, they made overtime, everything was good. Everybody got medals, for different grades of medals and awards from the department. We got community awards. So things were doing good, and we had fun. I think I saw one of the shows you talked about when the guys ate, they ate on overtime because it tasted better. Is that right?
Yeah.
Good. So we couldn't eat because, and these guys were runners. A lot of the guys weren't big like you guys because they had to run. My black guys, my white guys, they were fast on their feet. So what
There'll
happened?
be a test for the narcotics shooting the 40-yard dash.
You had to run. You had to go. You had to take the collars. And it said, have your coffee, eat light. And then when we were done collaring up, it was near the overtime hour of the night. Yeah. And then we would eat on overtime, right? Send out for the food. Right. We'd have the drugs on one table all laid out, all the shit, weed, things, cocaine, heroin, all laid out, the bundles of things, and we'd eat.
But how could you eat when you were on cocaine?
Yeah.
Right? I never could eat when I was on cocaine.
I don't even know if we had drug testing. I don't think we did.
Yeah, I remember in Serpico, that was the scene there that was smoking pot when they got into narcotics. They passed around a joint just so people could know what the smell was. Like, I don't know what the smell is. Or let you know what the high does to you. There might have been other drugs going on. Remember the scene I'm talking about?
Yeah, yes.
And then they get on the subway and he's banging the...
buy a bag of potato chips.
Yeah, you couldn't get the potato chips out. But I don't think they were drug testing. I don't think drug testing came on until I was on the job. And I think...
I got tested in '85 in the academy.
Yeah?
Yeah. They tested the whole class. Yeah.
Wow.
What kind of, was it a PB test?
Yeah.
That's nothing.
Yeah.
No, we never had that.
The PB test is nothing really. The
hair.
hair.
Dole test is the official.
Yeah.
Well, hair, once they start taking hair, that goes back 6 to 9 months now.
Yeah, definitely.
But we've got everybody in the buying drugs. Everybody was in the shooting gallery. Nurses, firemen, cops.
When you say the shooting gallery, you're talking about people where people went drug dens do their heroin.
Yep. Yeah.
So you used to buy your heroin, and then the shooting gallery was like, okay, you can chill out in here, shoot up, and then take off.
Yeah, and then they had.
So you get people from all walks of life doing that.
All over.
Do people stay in the shooting den, or do they
Connecticut,
shoot up and leave?
A lot of the people came and bought the glassines, dime quarter bags of glassines of heroin, and they would take it and go.
How long does a heroin high last for? Like one glassine, I'm buying 10.
It's quick. It's a quick high.
What, 20 minutes, an hour?
No, it could last a couple hours. You go up and you go down within a couple of hours.
But you don't want to go down, right? You probably want to go up again.
Then you
so
need
before
more
you go
again
down.
later on, there was a physical thing to it, that you get all cramped up if you.
Because I'm saying if they're $10 bags, and I'm going to get high right now for, let's say, 2 hours, but the second hour I'm going to be going down, crashing. Yeah. Maybe by the second hour I already you can feel it. Yeah. So I'm going to get high again, so this way I don't crash.
Usually like 3 bags a day, I would say, was the average. 3 bags.
Of people doing?
They're doing 3 bags a day. Yeah, that's how.
Then so you have like 1 for breakfast, a respectable lunch, and 2 for dinner, right?
Dinner. And they have the methadone too now. They got the free methadone.
Yeah, I never understood the methadone. I don't even know what that
is.
It
gets you off of heroin.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, it gets you high though, right?
It soothes the body down. Not so much you get high.
So you're not getting the mental high, but your body's not going through the anxiety.
You're not going through the withdrawals.
You feel good. Your body feels good.
They had to have the methadone, and we gave them all anything they wanted to keep the prisoners quiet. When you had 30 of them in a cell, you feed them, water them, and everything else. Here, take the water. Take your methadone.
They wanted sugar. Right?
Yeah, soda. Give me the soda, please. Give me the soda.
Yeah, I'm a firm believer in that, man. I don't know why they make prison so difficult. They should make it so easy. You should have TV. You should be able to play your video games. Your wife could come and visit you every day. Your kids want to stay with you. Let them crash in there too. Do whatever. They should build communities like that. Prison communities, man. Keep the whole family up there. I'm sorry. That's just what I'm
Digress.
working on. If
working on
you
it.
choose to be
I know
me,
he's
I'm
not.
going to be running for mayor of New York City in 2020. And if you vote for me, this is what you have to look forward
This is
to.
what you'll hear.
I'm gonna
There's no bail reform, just everyone comes to jail, and it's better in jail.
We're gonna build a big fence around the Bronx, and if anybody who's still stuck in there, you got to stay. And then we're just gonna fling cattle over on a catapult, and people fend for themselves.
Oh, God. Anyway, so that was the story. And we wound up, the numbers went so high, crime went down. I mean,
Shootings,
shootings went down,
everything.
murders, everything went down because we were rolling through the streets. We had target locations, and everything was cut in half. And I'm being honest with you. And they knew that. And I don't want to take any credit for what's happened.
It becomes a
citywide.
nuisance if you're a drug dealer, and you have the passing narcotics guys. You can almost time how often they come through. Maybe it's once every 3 months. Your precinct's going to get hit hard for a week. They're going to collar a few people. But, then you're not going to see them again for 3 or 4 months because they're doing the tour.
Yeah.
Now, you get in one particular precinct, you have one unit, and they just keep hitting that precinct day after day after day. At some point, you're just going to get all the you're going to know every single drug dealer in the neighborhood.
Right.
You're going to see them as soon as they're out. You're going to know what they're doing. So let's go talk to him.
Yeah.
Which means let's go toss him.
Yeah.
And these people are constantly at some point they're like, I either go deal somewhere else. Where does this 3-2 precinct end anyway? Because we got to get away from these
there's
guys.
so much money involved. They're
$13
not
million
going to give it up.
per street per week.
How much?
$13 million per week per street. And
Oh.
that's the average. That's
So
what they're making.
no one's giving
That's what
that
they're
up.
making. They
Yeah.
weren't giving it up.
No,
that
no
easy.
one's giving that up.
But we took so many people out of the buildings and on the street in the sweeps. We had the SNU team there doing the felony, sales, and they were making some serious arrests. They had OCCB there, because we sent all our intelligence reports downtown, and we told them certain locations we could get into and couldn't get into.
Well, even though the precinct's only a mile long, how many people lived in there? There was a lot of projects in there?
Yeah.
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 So you're talking about a high building, so you
Yeah.
get a dense population even though
Yeah.
it's a mile long.
143rd Street, back in the day, so they told me, was the most populated street in America.
Which
That's
one?
right, yeah, because that was before the real high rise.
143rd Street?
143rd Street between, I guess, whatever, Lenox and 8th Avenue. It was, very populated. People were born there and they died there,
I know 33 Broadway's up there somewhere, and that little...
Well, that's
they
on the
house-
west side.
That's the west
But
side.
they have,
That's the west
that
side.
building itself houses...
Yeah.
I mean, there's like
Well,
6
the Polo
buildings.
Grounds is a massive project.
Yeah, big projects
Yeah,
there. That's
yeah.
where the two cops, officers got killed there. But that
Polo
was it.
Grounds is where they had that little, where it used to be the Polo Grounds. There's a thing on the ground there, right?
Yeah.
Where home plate used to be.
That's right.
I know, because one time we were looking to pick up, they used to have this Condor overtime right after 9/11. Remember that Condor?
I used to run
And-
through the squad and go,
Well, I was in the warrant squad at the time, right? So all you had to do is have one to put in the book, one arrest, one collar to put in the book.
he's still not getting over the condor.
Yeah, he likes the Condor. And you could do that all you had to do is keep it in your drawer. Now, come Condor on the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, if you had the Condor tour, somebody used to go and put your number in the book. So you needed one to go. And this was a bullshit C summons that somebody was holding for us in Astoria, in a 114. We were taking anything just so my partner could have one to put in the book on the weekend.
Right.
So we go grab this guy, and he was a bad guy because on the way out, everybody was waving to him goodbye. Like everybody in the precinct knew him, every cop. So I'm already looking at my partner like, what's gonna happen? As soon as we get him in the van, he's rear cuffed, obviously, and I'm sitting next to him. He goes, "Yo, if I bite you, you'll get AIDS." So I'm like, "Why would you want to give me AIDS?" Dude, I'm a good guy. And then he starts saying, "I'll go sick, man. You guys will be stuck with me." So I did the psychological thing. I said, "You know what? Go sick, man. We want the overtime. That's why we're doing this." We bring him to 98th Street over there, the building that we used to do the warrants in. He's rear cuffed. I'm walking behind my partner. My partner's walking like 10 feet ahead of me. And we're going to go up these stairs to get to our office. And all of a sudden, the guy does a header. He kicks his one front leg out and falls flat on his face on purpose. Bang! So we picked that dude up, man. I said, we got to get rid of this dude. Fuck this guy. He's not in the book yet. We drove him up to Harlem, to Polo Grounds. Cuffed him right on that home plate. And he goes, "Hey, you guys can't leave me here. There's nothing there. There's no buses or trains." I threw his fanny pack out. He said, "Yes, we can. Fuck you."
You go house. You're done.
Fuck you and your whole bullshit.
God.
For a C summons.
Yeah.
Oh my
For a C
God.
summons.
It's like we used to get that catch over time for old homicides. And, we used to, the cases were hopeless cases. You couldn't solve them. So we have like 2 or 3 things we had to do. And one time we were looking for this girl, Gigi. And the thing was, we found her one time, and it was people were like, "Why the fuck did you found her? Now we have nothing we can do on that case." Every day it was looking for Gigi, looking for Gigi. Then someone found her. We were like, "No, we can't do that case anymore. You found Gigi, and she didn't know anything."
Oh, God.
Whatever you do, don't find Gigi.
Find Gigi, man.
It's our overtime.
It's
right
4 hours overtime man,
Every
once a
day
month.
looking for Gigi. All right, so back to you, Peter Pranzo. What do you got next for us?
Okay, so that the thousands of collars wound up maybe 8,000 arrests after like about 5 or 6 years, and we had some shootings mixed in there. Things got serious, so we had fun.
You mean people shooting at you?
Oh yeah. So what happened was that it was good, and we did very well.
You got the vest now, though, right?
Yeah, 79.
Bill
We had
had
the vest.
79
Yeah, we had
got
the
the
vest.
vest.
79 we
Wow.
had the vest.
What kind of vests were those, though? They must have been big, like military vests.
Oh, like a Kevlar, right?
They were
Kevlar.
regular,
yeah.
but I thought they would be like heavier than the ones that we have now, much heavier.
No. Kevlar,
Did you wear it, though?
Yeah, sure.
did?
Yeah.
You told-
yeah.
you told
for
me.
sure. Yeah.
You told Rochelle you
Yeah,
wore it.
I'm wearing it, yeah. But,
I never wore that because it was especially in the summer. Remember opening it, like at a detail, you go like this, you can see the smoke coming
smoke
out.
pouring
Oh,
out of it.
man, it's fucking...
I was like,
Peter, we had Walter Wasilewski on, who was
good
great cop, great guy, and
great guy.
he just posted your picture on Facebook. He says, "Oh, he's a legend." You had a Combat Cross and 2 Medals of Valor. You want to tell us about your Combat Cross?
Actually, it's one. I had the Combat Cross, and I had a Medal of Valor, and then I also had the Honor Legion Medal for Valor. So it wasn't,
Wow.
I had 2, and then plus 1.
Well, tell
from
us
the
about
Honor
your
Legion.
Combat Cross.
Because the cross started when I went in with the guys who took the side, who took the other side, and we went in for the front door. Me and my Bobby Smith, a hero. So I can mention his name, a hero. He saved my life, And we went in to the building. We're chasing after a couple of guys who were going to raid the building, so to speak. Just before he got to the back and is jumping out the doorway there, he pulls out a gun and lets 4 off at my guy, Bobby Smith, who's in front of me, He lets off a few, maybe 4 or 5 rounds. And they take off. I go behind them. I go up to the avenue. They're chasing through the schoolyard. And I go up to the avenue, try to head them off. And sure enough, around the turn they came. And he turned and aimed at my partner. And I repaid my partner back for saving my life. And I shot the guy. But he lived, but I shot him. And they gave us both a cross, me and Bobby Smith.
That's
For
great.
the,
Did you give each other a high five when you
we
shot
did.
him?
We did. We did.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, we swear to God, because we're tough guys. We and down the street coming.
How far was the shot?
Pretty far, like about 30, 40 feet.
Were you surprised
that's
when you
far.
hit him?
Yeah, I was. Yeah, because it was all
You're like,
smoky.
oh, shit,
That's
I hit him.
pretty damn
I was
far.
like, I got the motherfucker.
Was that
And he went down.
that was with your 38 Smith &
38,
Wesson
Smith &
revolver?
Wesson
right?
revolver, yeah, 4 shots, and I got him
The
once.
most
The bullets went
reliable
all
gun in
over.
the world, probably, right?
Good, and the bullets went everywhere else, But he went down. Anyway, but he lived. He was all dusted up, angel dust. And the radio cars are coming down the street.
That dust, man. You know what?
Yeah,
Yeah,
dust.
they,
Yeah, where
there's
they
a lot, they
sprayed
say a
it
lot
and
of
shit.
bad things about that.
Yeah.
But if you're ever going to get in trouble with the law, man, smoke a little dust first. Because, it'll keep you alive, man. These guys, they don't feel pain for nothing.
No.
Some young guys are coming down the street, with the radio cars, and they're all looking, and they saw it. The guy fall down, the gun's out. The young guys who just got to the precinct. Some of the guys you had on the show.
Yeah.
And they with their mouths open, holy shit, where the fuck am I? And, but anyway, that got the cross, and then a year later, we were.
I like it. I'm holding your hand.
I'm sorry, yeah.
People
That's
get
the
in the
Italian.
rhythm. No, it's not
I'm
just
sorry.
you. People get in the
Yeah.
rhythm once you
Yeah,
start
Well,
touching
hit
it.
that
I'm
table.
sorry, yeah. I
Before you
apologize.
know it, we're going to have Jimmy Hoffa in there.
So, and then in 1983, we were up on maybe Bradhurst Avenue, 145. In December, we just finished cleaning out a building. We had about 30 people in a wagon, everything loaded up. We were ready to go. And then we look up to the corner, and there was a shootout between two rival groups fighting over a fucking marijuana shop. You know, it was a lucrative shop. And they were blasting away at each other with 45s, 9mm and shit, whatever they had. Boom, 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 boom. And I look over there and say, holy shit. And we all look, we see up there. Next thing you know, they saw us. They made us. We had the wagon parked there with the mopes in it, and they turned and boom, started firing at us. You know?
Oh wow!
Yeah, right. You know, boom, boom, boom. So here come the bullets at us.
So you're over here minding your own business.
Yeah, we're all done. We figure we're done for the day.
Cleaning out this.
Yeah,
building.
you're not done. I figure we're done. If everything is good, let's go eat. And I was hungry. You know,
That's
the
right.
Italians want to eat. Guys who wanted the beer. I wanted food, and then.
Where did you guys go eat up there? You were in the 3-2.
No, we
How
sent
was
it to the
food
Bronx.
then?
Bronx. Sent it to
So you guys used to go up to the Bronx?
Yeah, send the car for a food run, yeah. Up to the deli, up to the Bronx. You guys probably know where it is. It's just over the bridge. And so they start firing at us, and then we started firing back, and I guess we didn't hit anybody, but if you know how the people who in these neighborhoods, especially the Harlem neighborhoods back then, they all hit the ground. I mean, it was like
They know.
like they all got
They
shot.
know.
They
They don't
know.
mess around.
Yeah,
They know.
everybody was flat. I mean, flat. The traffic stopped. Everybody was flat
It's
on
like
the
you
ground.
live in a war zone. You learn.
Yeah,
This is
you
one of the
learn
things
how to
that you
survive,
learn.
right?
Survival
When you hit
techniques.
that
and-
siren.
Now the chase begins, and we're chasing, and I'm looking for bodies, and I didn't know who got shot, who didn't get shot. My guys let off some volleys. And then my guy calls me later on, and one of my guys, good guy, passed away, rest in peace. He calls me and says, listen, Pete, boss, Pete, we got one down. I says, not one of us. He says, no. He says, a perp? He said, no. And it was an innocent civilian got shot in the crossfire.
Oh, wow.
A lady pushing a young girl, pushing a baby stroller.
It's always a lady.
Yeah, pushing a baby stroller.
a
She
baby
got,
stroller
it
involved.
broke her femur.
Oh,
You
she
know,
didn't
when-
die.
Maybe
She
the
didn't
baby
die.
strollers
She's
attract bullets.
I don't know.
They have to.
But anyway, from the top of the
Where's
hill,
baby stroller involved?
it rolled down, the bullets rolled down and the sidewalk and hit her like 2 blocks away, and it went through her leg and broke her femur.
Wow.
She's down, and it was a shitty experience, you know. So we did good. You know, we had my one guy.
I mean, all things considering.
said it. We had a collar.
Only one lady gets shot. It's a good day.
Except if you're that
Terrible
lady.
young girl.
I don't know what
Anyway,
kind of, where was this police department we were talking about?
anyway,
It's
so
1 mile.
and we had out of the whole, we had, you know, everybody got away, but my one young guy, smart guy, he said, Pete, that's him over there, and he goes over and he pulls
shooter?
the shooter, 9mm out of the guy's pocket. So we got a gun anyway. We had shit, you know. We had old guys on the wagon from that, but on this incident we had shit. So he pulled the 9 out of the guy's pocket. I said, good, we had that collar there, but then the shit hit the fan because of the girl who got hit with the bullet. They think we did it. Of course, we don't know whose bullet did it. The bullet stayed in there.
All this time, he thinks that from 30 feet away, he took that shot. Boom, there's a high five. And then all you hear is girl 3 blocks away. Ow!
Anyway, so that was that. But we all got medals of valor. They gave us all medals. They had to give us medals, you know. They gave us medals
So,
of valor for that.
The 2 Medal of Valors, and then...
No, 1 Medal of Valor there, and
yeah,
the cross.
you got the
Right,
cross
but
and
then
2 Medal of Valor.
No, I had the cross, and I had the Medal of Valor for that.
And the other one's
the
the-
Honor Legion.
Pete, let
Medal
me
of
ask you
Valor.
something.
Yeah.
When you go
What's
out
that,
like
man?
on Long Island to an Italian restaurant,
Do you wear the-
put the combat cross on?
Yeah,
So that
you
they
wearing
give
that?
you a meal OTA or what?
I got them on the wall. And everywhere I go, I look, there's the medal on the
Tonight's
wall.
the Medal of Valor night. Take it to Dominico's tonight. We'll wear that
How much
tomorrow.
time do you have on the job right now when this is... Because now you're a veteran, you're a sergeant.
Yeah.
When is this
I was
gonna
on-
end?
I was on
I'm
the
sure
lieutenant
I need to know this as well. I'm sure you wanted it for a while there too, Rochelle. When is this going to end?
Yeah,
When you
didn't-
become lieutenant?
Didn't. So, you know,
When did you become lieutenant?
1984, I made lieutenant. So this is running towards the lieutenant's exam was right there. So it was.
So you got the House of Worship card and started studying again?
No. You know what happened?
Can I go back
I'll
to
explain to
Brooklyn?
you. It was a different way then. What happened was, and I tell you this, and all cops are probably the same thing. It's all good fun. We jest, we make jokes about it. But when a promotion exam is around the corner, you got points
down.
for medals.
Oh, yeah. Those are good, yeah.
So I got 2.5 points.
Oh, forget it. They
I
should
got
just
the max.
get you the...
I got 2.5 points
That's
max.
great,
Every time I
yeah.
had 2.5 points, and to get that,
That helps.
That should give you
that
half
helps.
the test right there. You started off with a 50.
You know,
All you can start off with a 50. All you got to do is get 50 right.
So-
because at that point, what are you going to tell me about a test I don't know about police work? Look at this rack.
So the year before,
Uh-huh.
the test would come, you know, the shootings, of course, the guys look, you know, I'm looking for something good. I need the point.
right,
You know, if you're a guy
Write
who
up
couldn't
everything.
study, you know, you everything get written up and stuff like that. And so I always maxed out the points, and that's how you manage to get promoted. You know, you pulled ahead of the guys.
So
smart
when
guys like
the
you guys.
perps say, yeah, this guy's just promised he's trying to get promoted.
That's right.
They
know the
actually
truth.
mean it.
But
Yeah,
you
They
know
would stay
something?
off the street because it was a bad time to be on the street.
That's so good that they do that, because or else you'd have all academy geeks being all the big bosses.
Yeah. So
they
it was
still
good
do
to
that
help.
now?
Yeah,
They
you
still
still
give you
get
points
points
for
for
that?
medals, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they should,
But, you know,
man.
because the
Oh, they
academy
should.
guys, they're
I'm telling you,
studying
I'm not even
every
kidding,
day
man.
at work, you know.
If you got a Combat Cross and a Medal of Valor and some other thing from the Knights of Columbus or Legions, whatever, hey, give him 50 points. You get 75 points. All you got to do is get 25
He's getting
right.
the Sambuca Romana medal.
Seriously, no shit. What more do you need? What can this test tell me that I can't tell? Look at the rack.
That's right.
Anyway, I make lieutenant, all right, and everything is good. And they told me, you know, because they started a violent prone list. Remember that list? The violent prone list?
yeah.
They started off, they had that when you guys were on
I think Ben Ward started
I
that,
don't,
right?
No, I don't know. But all of a sudden, this list popped up, the violent prone list, and a civilian complaint list.
Right.
You know that thing? And I
You
had
mean violent? Oh, you mean violent as
Officers.
to the cops.
cops? So you
I
were
was on
prone
a
to
list.
violence.
Yeah, because and all those arrests, you had to.
Yeah, in all fairness, I've been here for you an hour and a half now.
No.
You don't think you should have been on that list?
Yeah, of course.
I mean, I met a lot of great cops, but
Anyway.
I like you, but you should have been on the list.
I was on the list.
Let's,
But
let's give
You
his,
should have been in the top 5 on the list.
But I,
some chief said, let's call his wife at home. Let's call his wife, see if he's violent at home.
right? He's a little crazy, right?
I was. Anyway, but I thought I turned normal, but I didn't. Michelle says I didn't. Anyway, so I was on that list, and I says, okay, I'm going to street crime. They said, Pete, you coming to street crime? One of the detective lieutenants, he said, Pete, I got the perfect spot for you. Street crime. You're going, the CO calls, he says, you're coming to street crime because you could do what you did in the 3-2. You could do it
street crime.
citywide.
He
All
wants
your
numbers, yeah.
jump
Yeah,
out.
yeah,
We want
yeah.
numbers, we want guns, everything you did there. And then the lieutenant told me, Pete, I'm telling you, this is perfect for you.
Yeah.
And it wound up, it was, but I didn't go there. They says because of the IED logs. I had all those
violence,
open
okay.
IED logs.
Yeah, 'cause you
I had
were
a
number
handful-
5 on that
And I had
frickin'
lawsuits. I had a bunch of lawsuits. They used to come to my wife.
Most violent, they had a wanted post of most violent police officers still on duty. Guess who's number 5?
So they sent me.
Tried to get a free meal with his combat cross around his neck.
Sent me to. That's good. I like that. Anyway, we did everything but just about. Anyway, went to the 103. And I said, I went on the desk in the 103, and the lieutenant.
Oh, so you never got the street crime?
No, he
I
did
did.
eventually.
Oh, later.
Yeah.
First, I had to do was drop in the 103. I was on the desk, and they said, you know, you're done. My career's over. I figured I had the last couple of years to go, a few more years to go. I'm on the 103. I would never get to street crime because I was on that list for IAD logs, open cases,
Right.
lawsuits. I had 3 or 4 lawsuits, and I had the civilian complaints. I had
And that list, they had a picture of him there, and it goes like this.
It was that poor girl that got shot in the leg. She was suing his ass.
She did. She did. Okay, long story short, quick. I don't want to run out of time.
We got time.
I've got time. All right. Should we go into the corporation council? We go to the hearing and stuff like that. And I didn't care. Give the girl some money. She broke her leg. So they gave her $50,000. Even though the
nothing,
bullet.
man.
He's saying give her the money like this is his money.
Pay the girl.
Give her
And she did. She
100.
broke her leg. But she was on welfare. And they were in the court, and they took the money away from her because she had to pay
that's
the.
bullshit.
So she had a. She's
Sweetheart, whoever you
She
are,
limped.
you should have got the money.
She should have got the money
right,
anyway.
I felt bad for her, and it wasn't our bullet. I don't know.
She's limping around somewhere in
I
Harlem
don't know if it was
now.
our bullet or whatever it was, because it was a big caliber
this,
bullet,
like this, and the
and
3-2.
they never wanted to take it out. The bullet stayed in there because if they found out it was a large caliber 9mm, they thought it wasn't our guns, but
Right,
they didn't
so
know.
you would-
They didn't know
she would've got
who
no
had
money,
one gun.
yeah.
Right. Anyway, so she got it and they took it away. So I went to the 103 and the CO over there says, and I had some metal
Did they
stickers.
chain you to the desk over there?
No, he says, Pete, listen to me, the CEO, nice guy, old guy. He says, listen, he says, you don't belong back here in front of the desk. Well, look, I'm here, you know, this and that. This is where they sent me. No, why did they send you here? I didn't tell him. I didn't say nothing to him. I'm here. He says, no, you got, they starting a new thing with the lieutenants like an operations lieutenant, whatever the fuck it was, right? You could do anything you want,
Right.
any hours you want. You could charge a SNU anti-crime. You could have, all the units to specialize in proscar. I says, okay, I'll take it, boss. I figured this is good. My last few years on the job, I'll take it. They send my name into the round robin, where they send your name into the investigative unit and at headquarters. And they called us.
Denied.
They called the CO up, and him and I.
They have that rubber stamp with the, you got it
I had to go with the CO, nice old guy, the nicest guy you want to meet, real pleasant guy. He said, Pete, what happened? I says, well, I guess I had a few civilian complaints. Pete, we got to go down to we have to go down to CCRB. Yeah. So I had to drive with the captain down to CCRB, and some asshole deputy chief, whatever the fuck he was, is there. He starts berating the captain. How the fuck did you put in this lieutenant? And he's yelling, and this and that. Look, this captain had nothing. He didn't know about all this shit. But let me tell you something, Pranzo, he tells me. He says, I'm telling you right now, as long as I'm on this fucking job, you'll never get a fucking detail. I says, hey, boss, I made all these thousands of arrests. I don't give a fuck what you did, but this is a new job. You're getting fucking
Rabbi Schneerson.
So here I am. This guy, this deputy chief, what it was, he gets transferred.
Yeah.
The day he gets transferred, 24 hours later, I'm in street crime.
Beautiful.
He's gone. He's out of CCRB.
Who made the call?
I can't give you the names. No, it wasn't the rabbi. No, it was a street crime. Street crime.
Commissioner, this is Vito Corleone.
Now I'm in street crime. This is where I belong. It was a
Great place to work for a lieutenant, right?
You know what? You joked around about that, but to get him out of your hair in the 3-2, man, he might have got a call from somebody at Gambino saying, we can't kill the guy. So can you at least put him somewhere else?
Street crime.
And street crime, as you know, was citywide.
Right.
And it was a collection of the wildest bosses.
Yeah,
the bosses,
absolutely.
the ones, I hate to mention their name now, but God bless them.
Great bosses there. Great bosses.
DiMartini, a hero, 500 medals, and of course Dick Savage, a hero. These guys. So that was a collection of lieutenants that you had. I was a delegate to lieutenants. They made me delegate.
Billy Lakis, was he there?
Billy Lakis. Matter of fact, Billy came from Internal Affairs.
That's right.
Yeah.
He told me. Can I tell you a quick
Billy
story?
told me. A good guy.
I drove him one night, and he just got there from FIAU, and we were in Midtown South. And they used to have these guys that would do the bottle scam.
What's the FIAU?
They would Field Internal Affairs Unit. Anyway, they would have a bottle, and they'd bump into like a tourist and say, hey, you just broke my $50 bottle of wine, and they put the bull on him,
Right.
So Lakis sees someone do it, and he goes in and he grabs the guy, and the guy like slaps his hand away. I came over the top and bitch slapped this guy, And I was like, after I did it, I was like, oh shit. I didn't know if Lakis was cool. Lakis sort of liked it. He liked it. I smacked the guy in back,
Cool guy.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, when he saw me, when he came, I got there first, and he came after, and he says, Pete, how did you fucking get here? Because he had my cases.
Oh, good.
From down, he said, well, your fucking record. He says, hey, Billy, I had all those thousands of arrests. I don't care. I don't know how you got
They used to call it a CPI, right? Your Confidential Performance Index.
Yeah, index. And the guy says, but Billy, I'm here. It's good. We had a good time. And street crime was a good spot for me because it was citywide.
Yeah.
And I could do what I wanted. I could go where I wanted. I just tell my guys, my Goombas who run the unit there, the administrative lieutenant, and I says, here's where I want to go to Brooklyn.
Yeah, Luna, this is Pranzo. Make me an 8 o'clock reservation.
Good. Mommy Leone's.
That's right.
Mommy
that's
Leone's
right.
was there. Matter of fact, I lost the tablecloths when they closed down. And we used to go in. I said to them, now these people in street crime, they were different. They came from all over the city. I had young guys, 30 or 40 guys, and I had to train them and explain to them about aggressive patrol because they came from, and they weren't, to get into street crime, you had to be a little aggressive. And if you weren't aggressive, you didn't survive in street crime. So you had to make the collars, the gun collars, the robberies, whatever. And I used to explain to them how to go out there and be aggressive, do the stops, doing as best you can, stay on this side of the on the page, the right side, and make all those collars.
Right.
And I had to teach them that because if you ride around, because the boss we had there at the time he was a dick, and he didn't want you to do anything because they were going to knock out the unit because of what was done. But I had to explain to the guys, be aggressive, because if you ride around in that radio car up and down the blocks, and you're waiting for a robbery to take place, you go your whole career.
Right.
How many robberies, stick-ups did you witness? How many
Right.
stick-ups did you actually witness?
I witnessed
Okay,
a
bro.
couple, but
You did? Okay, God bless. Yeah,
yeah,
you're not good.
no. I mean, we took off, but
Yeah.
He's always waiting for his
I
next
know,
joke.
I know. Because he's got to make money at the clubs.
I was a good witness, though.
He's an actor.
I could
Everybody knows-
identify that guy.
He's an actor. And
was
he's
a
a
cop.
comedian, professional.
I could
he's in
identify
all the TV
that
shows. Yeah, I watched it the other night. Very
no.
good,
What
though.
you do is when
Very
you drive
good.
around, you're like, yo, don't look now, but that guy on the left looks dangerous. Make it right, make it right, make it right.
Anyway, so I had to pay. I used to lay out a piece of paper. And in the middle of the paper, I draw a 1-inch column down the middle. On one side was non-aggressive patrol.
Because you're not your.
Okay, I'm sorry. One side of the page was non-aggressive patrol, and the right side of the page was aggressive patrol. When you're non-aggressive patrol, you're not going to get medals, but you're not going to get in trouble.
That's
On
me.
the- okay.
That's me. You see that Mayo Sanchez right there? That's me, right at the top of that on that list.
On the right
This
side
is
of the
you and
page,
Bill over here.
right side of the page. How'd you get a shield? Narcotics?
No, it was in the warrant squad.
Oh, God bless.
Oh, yeah, I'm
That's
kidding.
better.
I did. I
you
did
did
what I
narcotics.
did what I had to do.
You do?
No,
Oh,
not
you did good.
narcotics. I was in the warrant squad.
Okay. On the right side of the page, getting
Okay.
back to work. On the right side of the page was aggressive patrol. This is where you do all your stops, you do all your follows and leads. You get out of the car, toss people legitimately as best you can. Oh.
This is the aggressive. Now, was it non-aggressive?
Okay, non-aggressive and aggressive patrol.
All right.
So I tried to get the guys to work somewhere in the middle.
Okay.
And so you, without going to jail, without getting too many CCRBs, and work in that middle line between aggressive and non-aggressive patrol.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And you make collars and you do good and you stay in street crime, you stay in all the units, but don't get yourself killed, and you do well on the job.
Right.
But I stayed there in street crime, and when I was in street crime, when actually, a few years before that, I started writing. And,
Oh, you mean pen
writing.
to paper?
Pen
your
to paper,
story.
real writing.
Yeah, yeah.
And not just my story, I started writing for all the
How far did you go to school?
high school.
All right.
High school. I mean, high school. And so I started
So there
writing.
was a lot of spelling errors then.
No, well, Rochelle would fix everything, right, Rochelle? Oh, she's very good. Very
What kind-
smart.
so when you
on
started
a
wri-
roll there in school. Anyway,
When
but
you started writing, what were you writing?
I was writing about the police suicides, about stress management, and
That's what got you. You delved in.
Yeah.
What you had an opinion on that?
yes, I did. My opinion was that not just our department, but a lot of departments weren't up to snuff because all the people that were getting killed on the job, and that we all witnessed it, there were more suicides than there were guys that got killed in the line of duty.
yeah.
Were suicides. So I started writing about burnout and stress management, and one of the.
Did you feel like you were having some of that?
Nah, no, I was fine. I was, if you got to be a little bit more of an emotional type guy, maybe, and the guys.
No, but
really
Pete, we've talked about this before, and we pretty much all agree that anyone that has done over 20 years on the police, or maybe even less, has a touch of PTSD.
Oh, yeah.
No doubt.
Oh yeah,
You know?
you still get.
Yeah,
the
but he's
nightmares.
talking about the burnout. So
The
I
burnout,
asked
Which
you.
is PTSD too.
I asked
Yeah.
you, did you recognize it in yourself? And you were quick to say no, but so you
Yes.
you
Good.
had to write it. So that means
Yeah.
you must have observed it in your colleagues.
Yes,
You must have seen guys
yeah.
getting burnt out.
Yeah, and a new thing approach.
What's a common
Change
symptom
in
of-
personality. Change in personality. Depression. A guy who didn't want to participate in work anymore. He started taking sick.
So all of a sudden you got this guy who's on. He's either on this side of the list or right in the middle doing what you said, but he doesn't want to collar as much anymore.
Yeah, he becomes a little dejected from the rest of the guys. Becomes a little lonely and stuff like that, and then sooner or later it may show up differently. Guys fight their way through it, and they're fine. But guys have such issues. You don't know until you deal into somebody's life.
Yeah, because it's
Family.
not just the job.
That's the
It's
home life.
Yeah.
Divorce situations, losing their children.
Not everybody has a Rochelle at
sickness.
home.
Oh, God.
You know, a wonderful wife.
Who's writing these stories from?
That's right. Oh, Rochelle types 120 words a minute.
That's great.
Anyway, so I started doing those articles, and I did an article for the Daily News that sort of hit good and bad with the job, and they started the campaign with the posters about, you remember you put the posters on the wall, well, we never had that. So,
Right.
and I, not just me, but
So
I
you're
felt-
writing articles right
articles for all the police
now. And
magazines.
you're submitting your articles to
All the police
Spring
magazines.
3100.
Police
No, that's just that. That's like a department kind of thing. I did
Police
this-
One, things like
Yeah,
that.
a police magazine,
Yeah.
Police Time, Police and Security News was one of the biggest. They actually started me off, and I would get paid like $100 for every magazine that went in.
Wow.
So I do an article, and it was $100, and I make $1,200. 12 magazines around the country, the Chief, the magazine, Police, Times, and all that shit, So I was doing very well writing the articles, and I ruffled some feathers up, excuse me.
What, because of the articles?
Because of the articles, yeah.
Whose feathers did you ruffle?
The department.
But what didn't they like about your articles?
They didn't, because when I put it all in there about suicides, and I put in there about the peer units and that would help, the guys who were going through some problems on the job, I felt the job wasn't up to snuff.
And they're still not. They're still
You were condemning the job, what they were doing for their officers.
You got it. But
you were asking them to do more.
Do more.
Okay.
So they started with the posters, and they did a lot.
Who started with the posters?
The police department. Remember the posters on the
Okay,
wall?
so because of your encouraging,
Yeah.
they actually took an initiative and decided, okay, let's do something about this, and they got some posters.
They did. And then I did that, and I did about the guns, because I felt we were left out with the guns. With the,
What about the
guns? We only had the handguns, the
38s. You want to go to 9
I wanted semi-autos for the guys.
So you wrote articles about
on that. And how come we're left out?
Yeah, okay.
So I started writing articles about the guns. The range called me up. He said, "Who the fuck are you?" Lieutenant from the range. "Hey, Pete, who the fuck you think you are?" He says, "You're not a qualified guy." He says, "I'm telling you right now, the guys can't handle the semi-automatics." He says, "Number one, they can't handle it. They can't keep the guns clean enough. They're going to be killing people out there. It's a liability to the city." And so the lieutenant, "Hey, Lieutenant, you shoot at the range. Good, God bless you. When was the last time you were on the fucking street? How many shootouts were you in?"
Exactly.
With the fucking lieutenant. There was one guy who was a hero lieutenant, so I don't want to talk about the range people. There were, but a lot of the range people changed hands, and some of them, I don't want to talk bad about them. They're the best trainers and everything else. But I took flack from that, from the department. A couple of things come in, but minor shit. So I wrote about those kinds of things because I felt we needed the semi-automatics. And then the articles hit big. And then Gould, remember Gould books?
Yeah.
They asked me to do a book on stress management, and I did the book, and that did very well, the book.
How did you put that book together? Did you have, besides for Rochelle doing spell check, did you have...
Yes. No, I had doctors, psychiatrists, and such, and I got all the things that I did, all my articles, I compiled them all into group, put them in a book, and then I got from all the different departments and the doctors around the country, their programs, put it all in the book, and it was a big seller, and the FBI took it, because I put them in there as well,
brilliant.
the FBI, and they put it in the FBI library.
Wow, that's
so
great.
This guy knows what he's doing.
So that was...
Hey, you want to help us out?
Pete,
trying to get this podcast off the air. Bill, we got to hire him. We got to hire you.
No, but one of the things, and you're very careful about it, and I appreciate that, is that you really don't want to criticize the department, and we don't want to either. But when we see something wrong, we like to point out. But we love the police department, and I'm sure you do too.
Yeah.
But we want things to be better, and we want things to be better for the cops that are on now.
Yeah.
And as far as they had 7 suicides last year, I believe.
That's correct.
And they can do more. They can really do a lot more.
Yes.
We've talked about it a couple of times. I had an idea about having all the officers be assigned a clinician right out of the academy.
Yeah.
And you have to go every time you fire your gun. So whatever the range is now, twice a year.
Yeah.
You got to go to your clinician twice a year. And once everybody has to go, it takes the stigma. What do you got today? Oh, I got to go to see my, whatever word you use, but everybody will be using the same word. It's just, you got to go. And while you're there, they're going to ask you, are you experiencing any trauma, this, that, and the other? And then either you could say no and be on your way and come back half a year. But if you are, and you want to talk to somebody, then you could start making your appointments.
Correct. The problem with that, they tried to Commissioner McGuire, who was a very religious guy. He put that plan exactly what you're talking about. Every year
Somebody always takes my ideas before
It was good. But then he was told that there was so many disgruntled guys on the job. So that when you went before to talk to somebody, it says, "Do you have any bad feelings?" He says, "Yeah, I want to kill my wife." I says, "I want to, I hate this motherfucking job, and I want to get out of the 3-2, the 2-8. I'm here for 20 fucking years. Why am I in this fucking precinct? I hate everybody. Excuse the language. I hate black people. I hate Spanish people. I'm white, or vice versa." And they would have to say, "Yank them. You're out." So that would be, you'd lose half your fucking job.
Right,
and be sitting home on the living room because they couldn't. You got it. So now you're home, everybody's out, and now it's a liability that you said, "I don't want to be here."
Well, there has to be confidentiality with this
Well,
stuff.
there it
Yeah,
goes, you
I
know,
me's
so-
always going to be that crazy dude that's like, he's going to go to his, make an appointment with his clinician on January 30th.
Right.
So he doesn't have to go to work tomorrow, you know what I'm saying?
No,
Because he's got the detail.
That's why it never really came to be. So
Yeah,
they're very
yeah, I
careful
get it, I
about
get it, I
because
get it. They're
it's
still-
supposedly you're normal when you come on the job, and then now when you leave the job.
Yeah, but
you're
you know
on
what?
your
That
software.
is, you see, you're talking about a situation when you get somebody who's already halfway through their career where you start getting bitter. When you assign people, the clinicians, right through the academy, and you have to go see your guy twice a year, you have this opportunity to get rid of all these little anxieties and fears and angers.
Yeah.
And it becomes like anger management.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So you're probably not going to get to that point in your halfway through your career where you're motherfucking the job and everybody else in the world.
Yeah.
You're probably not going to get there.
Yeah.
Because you'll be like a steam valve.
Yeah.
Letting some of it out.
Right.
Guys are just afraid to take the gun away, and that's what it's all about.
That's
You take your gun away, and then you're done. They say you're going to give your gun back. They don't.
No.
Mm-hmm.
But the other thing, Pete, is like in your day, people would stay 20 years on patrol. That's very rare now. Very, very rare. People go
In
to
busy
details.
prisons.
Yeah.
Yeah, guys, I knew guys, and a lot of them are dead now, but they worked 20 years on patrol, and of course they came to street crime at the end,
Right.
big boss and stuff like that. And I said, Jesus, how the fuck did you do in that one
And you
radio
survived,
bar
yeah.
for 20 years in the 7-8 or whatever, or the 7-7? God
Yeah.
bless you, or the 3-2.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, there's definitely way more
Yeah.
movement on the job now, and because there's so many tiny, smaller units, to go through everywhere, which is
Yeah.
one of the best things about the job. But we were talking about the writing. So right now, you've written, you were writing books that pertain to the job.
Yeah.
You had the suicide book.
Yep.
And then you had this other one, which is called Behind the Shield. What was that?
That was just a journey through the NYPD. It's behind the
Your,
shield. It's
your
my story.
autobiography.
Autobiography of my story. It's an e-reader. It's Behind the Shield, the journey to the NYPD. And I just talk about from being a rookie, some of the fun that we had.
So it
as we
goes
moved up to
from,
from there to my retirement.
The,
Yeah.
the crazy days,
Yes.
shooting a
Yep.
lady in the leg in Harlem.
Yeah,
To
yeah, all
He's
that.
not old enough to that.
All that. No, I can't. Anyway, all that. She got nothing. She lost all the money. Oh, God. Got 10 minutes more? Fine.
wait, yeah.
I'm sorry.
Easy, Peter.
I'm
He's
sorry.
so excited. He's
No, I don't want
worry.
to lose. I don't want to lose time.
No, we're not gonna. We're
I
not
don't wanna
losing
lose time.
anything, Peter. Listen, I want to talk about Harlem Raiders here.
Yep.
So now we wrote the book Beyond the Shield. That's about your career. Where could they find that one?
It's on an e-reader, Behind the Shield, A Journey Through the NYPD. It's
Behind the
e-reader on
Shield.
Amazon, Barnes & Noble.
Oh, that's great.
It's
Peter
on
J.
that.
Pranzo.
Right, and then the stress management for law enforcement.
Oh,
is
that's
on
also
there.
it's also on there too.
Yeah, and that's in the FBI library. That book made a big.
That's
was a big
that's
thing,
great.
big
That's
seller.
great. That's
excellent.
amazing.
And then I wrote this one
And
here.
this one right here that we have in front of us is called Harlem Raiders. And that's about your days working in the 3-2.
You got it. It's a
when
changed a
you were
little
with
bit.
the
It's a
narcotics
novel-
unit?
It's a novel
You
based on
changed some of the
Yes, I
names
did.
to protect the innocent.
You got it.
All right.
Exactly. Names, locations, some of the things we did. I can be more free with some of the things that happened.
You made it
Right, right.
yeah, fiction.
I did good.
Yeah, good. It's got a fancy cover on there.
Yeah.
Which guy are you on this cover over here?
He's got the cannoli. He's got the cannoli in his hand.
But and that book's out now. Everywhere books are sold, Amazon and Barnes and Noble, and everywhere books are sold.
You
That's
know what?
doing
I
very
got to
well.
ask you this because we talked about Polito and the other guy was
Caracapo was his partner.
Caracapo.
Oh, yeah, very
And I know he's Polito. You worked with him as a young cop, and you got to know him when he was first on the job. And
Yeah.
you said he was, you know what? Out of the two of them, the one guy looks like a curmudgeon, like a dry drunk, and the other guy looks happier than life. How did these two find each other? Do you think?
I don't know.
You don't know?
I don't
And
know.
when do you think?
Well,
when do
Louis,
you
I hate
started
to
developing?
talk about that because he had such a good family, and we knew the
Yeah.
family members and everything else. He was really a real super. Whoever knew that he was getting involved in that kind of
something
stuff.
happened. The wrong,
Yeah,
wrong way.
but it was his family situation. Remember
Well,
his
yeah,
father?
he wrote
if
it.
you
But
read his
do you think the book had?
Mafia cop. Oh,
do you
yeah.
think the book had something to do with him
Yes. Yeah.
actually becoming the character in the book more?
Yeah. Good. You do. You fall into that, so to speak, and he did. He fell into the character of the book, and
He liked that, right?
Yeah, he was in all the movies. You know,
Yeah,
he was in
Goodfellas, yeah, I
and all
remember.
that stuff. And he was trying to get a lot of shows done, like we all do. But he was trying to get some different shows.
So you think
everything
maybe that he felt like he had to fill in those shoes and become that guy? Or
I think so.
I think he had it in
mentally,
him.
maybe mentally he did, but all I could say is that I knew him as a person when he was a young guy.
Yeah.
He shot Twyman Myers and some other people. He got the Medal of Honor, which is rare, you know that, right? The Medal
If
of
you
Honor.
don't die, yeah.
You know, yeah, right. And he was really a hero. But I'm sorry the way things turned out for him and his
Yeah,
family,
obviously.
and from his partner and everything else. And Louis passed away.
Polito did
He
pass
passed
away?
away. Yeah, he got
Recently then, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Recently he passed away.
And let's talk about the consulting work that you do.
Yeah.
So tell us about that.
Well, I'm working with a couple of different companies. Brooklyn Bridge
How did you
Productions.
start?
When we were doing a show, when I worked with one of the community leaders, I helped write her book, The Woman Who Took Back Our Streets.
Yeah, Rita.
Rita Webb Smith.
Uh-huh.
So we did a book together, and that became a nice bestseller. And we've been trying to do a show on that. She
And that,
died.
her story is, I would imagine it's a really intense story about it. Just
Yes, her family.
one lady from living in
Harlem.
Harlem and just got sick of the drugs, and she decided to
Yeah.
do something with it. And
got
then
it.
she teams up with you.
Yes.
You got this team of Harlem Raiders, and yeah, it sounds like a great movie. I would
Great.
watch it.
It is. So what happened was she died, so it never came to be. We're still
I'm
working
sorry
on
that
that
she
end.
passed,
Yeah,
yeah.
she passed away. And then
Who do you see starring as her?
it was Al Pacino going to be.
No, no,
for
of
her,
course you.
For me, Al
no
Pacino.
kidding. But I'm talking about for her.
For her was going to be Felicia Rashad. Felicia Rashad.
But now, who would you pick now?
Now, the girl from Murder. How to Get Away with Murder? How to Get Away with Murder? I can't.
I don't know who that is.
Sure.
Yeah, yeah. What's the name, Rochelle? My wife.
Kerry Washington?
No, not Carrie.
Carrie?
No. She's the head person in that show. She's very good. She's doing a lot of shows now. But she won the award. It's
The
How to
award?
Get Not How to Get Away with Murder. It's Is that what it is?
No, we're gonna be here all day with this. You know what?
I'm sorry.
I tell you who came to my mind, and you're gonna think I'm kidding, but I think this would change your career. What's that rapper's name? The big popular one, the Puerto Rican one.
Fat Joe.
What?
Fat Joe.
Viola Davis.
Viola Davis.
Viola
Yeah,
Davis.
yeah,
I'm
She's
thinking
very
somebody younger.
Yeah, for her. But
I'm thinking somebody younger. What was that rapper's name?
Fat Joe.
I said the girl rapper. You said Fat Joe. What's the girl from the Bronx? The rapper.
Oh, Cardi B.
Cardi B.
Cardi B, yeah.
I
Good.
think she could stretch. I bet you she could be the lead in that, and you'd forget all the other nonsense that
But
she has
now Al
to say.
Pacino's too old to play him.
no,
Yeah,
that was going back there.
Al Pacino's got to shave his
no,
head.
no,
He's not
no.
gonna want to do that.
They ain't gonna do that. Now it's gonna be Morgan Freeman for my black guy.
Yeah,
and it's
you
gonna be Clint Eastwood
Clint
for my
Eastwood.
white guy.
If I had
That's
to
in
pick a
Harlem
guy,
Raiders.
if I had to pick a guy for you, I'm thinking. Let me think. Fuck, Mom. Well, we'll keep going. I'll come back to it.
Anyway, so I've been working on those projects. We're doing scripts back and forth with some people from California. And then this company I'm hooked with now was Three Corners Entertainment. They're good. They published a book under their other company, and they do books to movies. So we're keeping our fingers crossed on this, on Harlem Raiders. And we still got the...
You know I'm an actor too, right?
I know you're an actor. I got you. You got your card.
Bill too.
Got your card. Here's what I bet it was actors here.
We're
You got your
trying
card.
to audition.
You got your SAG card.
Yeah, I got it, I got it.
They don't want me. They want handsome kids like you.
I'm trying to think. I'm still. You know who I think is underrated and probably could play you good?
Nicolas Cage was one. Who
Forget
else?
about it. You got to go younger.
Ray
than
Liotta?
Now you gotta go
Nicolas
kids.
Cage. We
Ray
talking about
Liotta.
you in your 30s. I'm
30s,
talking
yeah.
that guy who was he was on Boardwalk Empire. They used him wrong in The Irishman. He played the little guy that he fought with over the ice cream. Who's that guy?
I know you talk. The British actor.
Yeah. I think he'd be good for you.
It's a cool guy, yeah.
He played Nicky Barnes. Not Nicky Barnes.
He played that guy.
Yeah, I know you talk.
He was on Boardwalk Empire. Oh, did he play Al Capone on Boardwalk?
Yes, yeah.
He played Al Capone in Boardwalk. I think I see him.
Yeah?
Because we put the handlebar mustache
Mustache
on
on
him.
it.
Yeah.
I'm good to go.
Did you ride a motorcycle?
When I was a kid, I got my
Oh, no, because
motorcycle
I was
license.
fingering the mustache. Maybe
Yeah.
it was...
He came here with a leather jacket. He looked
You don't
like
know.
a biker.
Now, the guys looked, because we never got into the race thing with the black and white cops, which is another whole story there, that we really helped each other out, so
Sure.
to speak. And then
Yeah,
was a
close
big
out
thing.
on that. Tell us about
Yeah,
that.
one
We'll
quick
tie
thing.
it really nice.
If we got a few minutes more, when we started the team in the 3-2, we wanted to pick a balanced
Diversify the team.
diversified team. Otherwise, you couldn't take those thousands of people off the street with just white guys. You can't have 8 white guys.
Even back
pushing-
then?
No. Couldn't do it. It'd be the Harlem Riots, 1964 all over again, right? So we picked the black guys who really got a bad rap on the job, the black, I'm being honest, and some of the Spanish guys as well, they sort of were laid aside. So when we took them out, we're so happy we did that.
I can see this in the series right now when you're picking your people out.
Yeah, we did. It's in the book. It's in Harlem Raiders.
That's great.
It's in Harlem Raiders. It's all about the camaraderie that we're all brothers. And
I want to be the guy who puts the hit out on you, the Italian guy. Could I do that part?
You can do that part.
Yeah. I want to do it over the phone.
You can do anything you want.
I'm going to do that. I'm going to do the calling up. What's the name of that unit again? What's the name of the unit again that I had to call up to report him?
Oh, FIAU?
No. Remember? Oh man, we're gonna.
Oh, the force unit.
Yeah.
The CPI, whatever the
enforcement unit,
PCI thing.
Yeah, hello.
Personal index there, PIC.
No, I'm talking about the unit where you call them to make a complaint about him. Intel, yeah.
Intel, there you go.
Yeah, who do I got over there? Is this the Intel division? Yeah, you tell this Peter J. Pranzo. What part of Italy he's from, by the way? You don't know? Oh, that's important. Who find out what part of Pranzo's from? Because before I put this hit on him.
I gotta know.
I could always take the hit off. We could always take the hit off. Let's put it on him now. Tell him we put it on his life.
Last
I want to do that phone call.
Last story, and I promised the last of the story. Only because it's a little bit of an emotional story. We're all down on it. They never wanted us from Harlem, especially my guys, a little scruffy looking and stuff like that, with the hair.
They didn't want you in Manhattan.
Good.
They didn't want you coming
downtown Manhattan. So, but they had to send us one time. We're down in some kind of a fucking parade down in Midtown Manhattan, maybe the 17th.
Well, maybe that's why they didn't want you there, because you said we got to go to some fucking parade.
So we're in the 17th and 19th precinct, and we go in there, and the CO's looking at who'd you bring these guys in, because we didn't look right at the uniforms.
It's great. I love it.
You know? So the guys had the hats sticking on top of the afros and stuff like that. We go in there, we go in the back room, and we got our sandwiches that we had to pay for, you know? So we got our sandwiches, we're sitting down there, we're going to put the sandwiches on the table.
Would you leave your combat cross home that day?
They saw that, they didn't give a shit. You know? All the guys, in one of those precincts, I don't know, nice guys, good cops, heroes. And so they says, hey, Sarge, one of the patrolmen says, you know, and maybe because my guys looked about the black guys I had with them, I don't know, whatever it was, they didn't like it. You know, didn't like the
maybe somebody was putting their dick beaters in the donuts.
And I said to me, look, boss, this is our lunchroom. You know, boss, not to, but this is our lunchroom. You can't eat here. Now we got all our sandwiches.
Right.
Now here, you know, so I took offense to that.
Of course,
it's a police department facility.
And these guys were all medals. These black guys were heroes, and the white guys. So I went over and I took they had, you know, you have a desk with the summons boxes on it, the ABC summonses.
Yeah.
And I knocked all the boxes off the fucking table.
Nice.
I just threw them on the floor, and I took the table and went in the corner. We grabbed some chairs and we ate by ourselves.
Beautiful.
So the
I
desk
like
officer
that.
looked and he said a word. He says, "Go," and that was it.
Yeah.
So I'm just telling those kinds of things.
I get the scene, but I'm pretty sure that command probably had black officers too.
No,
Back then? All right, yeah. But you know what, too, also,
good precincts, no.
you guys must have been intimidating. Like you said, you come in there, you're from all the way
scary looking
uptown.
3-2 guys.
Real cops.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And you kind of sort of pushing your way around.
Yes.
You know, you
Real
take over their
police.
lunchroom.
Chip on the shoulder, maybe.
Yeah, and especially if you go to a slow command. Those guys don't like that at all.
Yes.
You know, you go to a slow command, these guys are set in their ways.
Oh,
they don't
yeah.
like, you know.
Yeah.
Their balls are dipped in butter.
Yeah. Fuck those guys.
Good cops, all hero cops.
Yeah,
We
I
love
get
them
it. You know,
all.
I
don't want to talk about
I
any
see the
precinct.
freaking movie there. I see the series. It's a beautiful series.
See that? That's in the book.
You and the lady Cardi B.
Yeah.
The guy who's playing you is. I still got. I think I could do better to pick him out. But I definitely see this, man.
You know,
it's
they
a great
had
series.
this cop tell him, though, on behalf of his CO, that they don't like you sitting in our lunchroom, you know? That sucks. I remember I called one time downtown about a homicide, or the chief of D's called me, and they said, what's going on with this homicide? What do you got on? I go, we got nothing. And we didn't. And he goes, oh, the chief's not going to like that. I go, are you fucking kidding me? What the fuck do I care whether he's going to like it or not? I can't invent shit. We got nothing on it, you know?
Yeah.
This little bucket, this little chief's ball swabber, you know? He's not going to like that.
Yeah. Well, that's some job that some people. You know what's so funny about the job? It's so diversified that we got you on one hand, who's out here, and you got. Like, well, put it this way: there's a lot of people who are on this list along with me. The one that remember that list that was over there.
Yeah.
What was that called again?
Aggressive patrol, non-aggressive patrol.
Yeah, they're not aggressive. For that,
Should have
those
been
guys.
meat eaters and vegetarians.
No, those guys are dicks because those guys are a lot of them are the ones sitting in 1 PP. You know, and you come in there. And
Yes. Yes.
you know, how come this guy's not wearing? He's not wearing black socks. You know,
Yeah.
it's like stupid shit
Yeah.
like that. There's actually people out there fighting crime.
Yep. But
So, I'm sorry we made you rust. You got a million and one stories.
no,
so we're
I'm
going to
sorry,
give you
I
this opportunity. Close out.
apologize.
We'll
I
close
tried
out
to-
with one quick one. Head us off. Give us like a trip when you shot 5 people. Something really good. Let's go out on that.
no, let's go out with the family situation.
Okay.
I got a good family. I got grandchildren.
How many
Got my wife.
grandchildren you got?
I got 4.
4, huh?
I got 4
Pete, you got a
grandchildren.
great
Married
life, man.
50 years married.
How many kids did you have?
2.
2 what?
Kids, yeah.
2 boys?
Boy and a girl.
A boy and a girl.
yeah.
And how old are they now? Where are they?
Oh, they're big. One's upstate, 47 years
Uh-huh.
old. I got a 45-year-old daughter. They're big, and they're doing fine.
You're
Both
out on
in
Eastern
finance.
Long Island. Are you fishing?
Did you tell
do
them
a
you
lot
were
of
going to be?
fishing
Fish,
out there?
fish right
Did you
off
tell them
my
you were going to
beach.
be on the show?
What's that?
Did you tell them you were
I
gonna
will
be on it?
now. If it
Yeah.
comes out good when I see it first.
Of course, it's going to come
You
out
got,
good.
listen, you got a great
Listen,
dad here.
cut out the bad stuff,
There
make
is
sure
no
it's
bad
good.
stuff.
Superstar.
Sure, look, I
He's
tried
a
to sit
superstar.
tall.
We
I
gotta
shrunk down.
leave the warts
You know, I
in,
used to be
right?
5'9". when I came on the job. And I used to be tall. In the
That's
job.
when they
Yeah, but that's
stretched
because you
you.
kept hitting yourself on the head when you
It goes
shoot.
nuts.
5'9".
Get that extra.
I knew right away.
He was the guy out there. You know why you failed the psych? Everybody thought you were crazy because you're hitting your head with his heel when you shoot.
No, we had no sight. We had no sight, Joe. There's no sight then. We had no
He
sight.
really just wanted an extra half an inch in height. So he was hitting his head.
Oh,
Shoot.
God.
But
But we had fun.
Great time,
It was
man.
a fun job. I have to tell you, it was the best
Let's pitch
21
the
years
books
of my
one more
life.
time before we close out. We can
Please.
find the books. The 3 books are The Stress Management for Law Enforcement Officers, Behind the Shield, The Story of Your Time on the Job, and The Harlem Raiders. Buy all 3 of them in one shot. Get the trifecta, man. Go all in. That's what I'm saying. Where can we find it one more time?
Amazon, it's Barnes & Noble, or anywhere books are sold. It's doing very well. Check the reviews out. It's not just a shoot 'em up, beat 'em up, lock 'em up story. It's a family story. It's about police and community working together. And we did something.
Yeah, but there is some shoot 'em up in Harlem.
There's
Yeah.
shoot 'em up, beat 'em up. But there's a lot of families there, black families, white families, Spanish families.
I like it. The time is it's a
Yeah.
cross section of New York
Yeah,
City.
it really is.
It's
And about the mafia, it talks about the Sicilian mafia's 3
I
families.
think it's a
being
beautiful.
drugs
It's a
over.
great story, man.
Yeah.
I wish you the best of luck with
Thank
it,
you
man.
so
Thanks
much.
for coming in.
Hey, thank you very much. You guys are the best. You're an actor. He's good. He's a handsome kid.
Don't
He's a
forget
handsome
about
kid.
us.
He's a handsome
forget
kid
us.
over here. Now
Maybe
listen.
maybe have me as a young Polito. I'll put a fat suit on.
You want it? Mr. Brooklyn. Look him up.
Oh yeah,
He was a bodybuilder.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to-
I saw
when
him.
I
I
knew
read
him,
his book.
He hit you once. You
I
don't
read
know what
his
happened.
book, yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
You were
yeah.
done.
Yeah, you're right. That was the older, the one sitting by the bar in Goodfellas. That's the one that I was.
No, the big guy. No.
But that's the guy I have in my head every time
Yeah,
I
right,
see him
yeah.
because I
Yeah,
remember
no, he
that
was
scene
a
in
big
Goodfellas.
bodybuilder back in the
Big.
day.
He
yeah.
was the
Mr.
guy that right
Mr.
before
Brooklyn.
Johnny 2 times or whatever. I'm gonna go get the papers. Get the papers.
Now listen,
All right, thanks a
make
lot,
sure we
man.
turn
On
off the
behalf of
camera
Police
before
Off
we
the
stand
Cuff.
up because these guys are too big. I don't want to look too short. You understand?
Thanks, Scott.
Hey, thanks, guys. Thank you very much.
End the tour, man.